What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 10, Episode 3. This is where it begins, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we begin. Here are where the arguments are going to start between myself and you guys. I feel it. This is the episode. Okay. So we start this episode off. Kyle is home. Now, I thought Kyle said she was leaving for 10 days, but she gone for 10 months because they are acting like Kyle has been gone for 365 days of the year. I just feel like I understand her family being like, because she said that's the longest she's ever been away from her family. So I get it from her family, but even the girls were like, oh, Kyle, we missed you so much. And I'm like, okay. But anyway, Kyle's home and she is immediately planning a dinner party for the next day. You know, Kyle said, hey, I don't let no grass grow under my feet, honey. So they getting ready for the dinner party and, you know, they happy to see her. They had these really pretty balloons. You know, they just got extra shit in Beverly Hills. Did y'all see those balloons? The balloons were so pretty. They were like a chrome. And then it said, we miss you, Kyle, or welcome home, Kyle. But they just look, even the balloons expensive in Beverly Hills, y'all. Anyway, Erica is meeting with her voice coach to get her ready for Chicago, and she sounded good. You know, we see her going through her vocal exercises and everything, and her voice coach said, hey, I want you to, when you are doing this, I want you to channel the first time, your first happy memory of the first time your voice made people happy. And she said, well, I can remember the first time that it made him happy, the first time it made him sad. And he was like, okay, but let's not focus on the sad. But she goes on to tell a story about how she was in the 6th grade. She was singing in a play. She fucked up. She tried to sing out of her register or out of her key. And she said she could hear her mother laughing in the audience. But we already know, it has been well established that Erica and her mother had a very different and special relationship. And, you know, again, it just goes to show how the smallest things that can happen as a child can traumatize you. You know, it is what it is. So we have Lisa and Teddy meeting for lunch. Sutton comes through. Now listen, here's where it begins, okay? Here's where it begins. Sutton is trying to explain to Teddy how Teddy's invitation made her feel. Teddy will not take responsibility for how the invitation made her feel. Teddy, your invitation was some shit. And if I were Sutton, or really any of the other ladies in the group, I would feel the exact same way Sutton felt. Sutton just said it. And as someone who's new to the group, I would feel the same way Sutton feels as well. Now, Sutton, I got something for you later. Don't worry, y'all. I got something for Sutton later. But in that moment, I'm with Sutton. If I'm just becoming a part of this group and I'm just joining this group, an invitation that says, well, I'm having this thing, but you know what? If you don't come, I really don't care if you come or not. Then why the fuck you invite me? If you really don't care if I come, then don't invite me. Because the purpose of an invitation is to say to someone, hey, I would like for you to come. So to give me an invitation and then basically because basically what you did was you gave it to me, then you took it back. Because you invited me somewhere and then said, but don't really care if you can make it. Not if you, and again, there was a different way of saying what you said, Teddy. You could have said, hey, if you've already have a prior commitment, I get it. I don't want you to cancel anything for this event because there'll be other opportunities for me to show you guys what it is that I do. That's it. That's all you had to say, Teddy. That's all you had to say. Now, the translation is the same. I really don't give a fuck if you come or not. But you didn't have to say it that way. Now, not to belabor that point because I already said that last week. I dwelled on it. Let's talk a little bit about Lisa Rinna, her daughter, and Teddy. I agree 100% with what Teddy said. And it's funny because I was thinking it before Teddy said it. And I was in my mind thinking, am I going to say that in my review? But then when Teddy said it, she sort of gave me the opportunity to speak on it. I think that, and let me say this, I am in no way, shape, or form minimizing Lisa Rinna's daughter and her struggles with anorexia, her struggles with anxiety. I am in no way, shape, or form diminishing any of that. Let me be clear. So let me put that right there. Now, just as soon as I said that, somebody gonna come at me and be like, well, you just, I just said it. But I do feel like there are times when kids know there's a safety net, they're quicker to jump off of the ledge than if they know there's nobody there to save them. And by that I mean knowing she could come back home at any time, knowing that mommy and daddy were going to support her, knowing that mommy and daddy were going to, like defend her decision to sort of quit. I wonder if the decision for her to come home would not have been made as quickly had that security guard, that safety net not been there for her. And I do feel like parents, especially parents who have the means to do it, allow their children to quit too soon and to not deal with. The reality of the situation is your daughter has anxiety. Absolutely. She's going to have to learn how to function in the real world with that anxiety. And one of the things that she said in her Instagram post last week was part of her anxiety was growing up. She was scared to grow up. Here's the reality. It happens to all of us. We all have to grow up. And it is a scary thing. Growing up is scary. Not knowing what comes next is very scary. Having to grow up and mature and be on your own, all of that is scary. And your daughter had it better than some. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that you should not have let her come home. I'm not saying that because clearly I'm not in y'all's home. But I do agree with Teddy with the statement that she made that sometimes we make it too easy. And I think that people with money make it a lot easier than people who don't have money, because the reality is people who don't have the money don't have the means to support their children in that. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I hope y'all understood the point I just made. Now, the other thing that came up, Rinna. Now, Rinna, you getting on my nerves more than Sutton getting on my nerves with you bragging about Sutton. We get it. Sutton's rich. We get it. You don't have to keep reminding us that Sutton is rich. We got it. We got it. You talking about that purse, I thought was very gauche. When someone gives you a gift, sitting there trying to figure out how much the gift costs, that's not cute. That's not cute. Now, I'm pretty sure producers asked you how much you thought the purse cost or whatever, and they edited it to make it look that way. But I still feel like you were probably bragging on Sutton because you've been bragging on Sutton since the first episode. So I believe that some of that probably came from you bragging on Sutton. But I just thought that was very rude for you to be sitting there bragging about how much her gift cost. Now, with that being said, that clutch was bad. Ooh, that was a cute clutch. Ooh, that clutch was bad. Now, okay, so we got all of that out the way. Now we get into Kyle's dinner party, okay? The party has started. We find out that Dorit's new home is literally in the same neighborhood as Kyle. She's right around the corner, right down the street. And so, we know what kind of neighborhood Kyle lives in, so we definitely know where Dorit lives, okay? Okay. Now, what was funny, though, was even with Dorit living down the street, guess who still beat them there? Teddy and her husband. So they get there first. Teddy is showing, so we definitely know that this is a few months later. Not having me a few months, but we know this a little bit of time has passed. Teddy's belly's got a little bigger, honey. And Dorit shows up, and Dorit looks cute. She's carrying that new clutch, honey. Her and Lisa Rinna carried the new clutch. That's how you know how bad that clutch was, because both of them carried that clutch at the very next opportunity they had to show it off with the other girls, okay? Now, Erica didn't get the same clutch. She did get a clutch, but she didn't get the same clutch. And y'all know Erica was not happy, because y'all know that clutch is 120% Erica Jane. Y'all know that clutch. Erica would rock the shit off that. Okay? Now, so Miss Sutton arrives, and the first thing Miss Sutton has to do is let everybody know where her fashions come from. Oh, well, this was ready to wear. This is the bitch. Listen, Sutton, I like you. I do. But you are quickly getting on my nerves with you announcing your fashion choices every time you show up for an event, because you are quickly becoming the person that wants to tell people what's gauche and what's not appropriate. Well, how about I don't think it's appropriate for you to have to announce, because again, see, I had this conversation in one of my chats. When you have money, you don't have to announce you have money. You don't have to announce that what you're wearing is straight off the runway, or it's couture, or it's ready to wear, or it's Dolce, or it's this. You don't have to announce it, boo. It speaks for itself, okay? You walk in the room, just like when Lisa Rinna walked in that suit, and Kyle immediately knew who the designer of the suit, and that she was getting ready to order it. It speaks for itself, bitch. So Sutton, I'm gonna need you to stop announcing who you wearing and what it is. We don't need to know. We don't care. Okay. All right. I loved Garcelle's outfit, honey. Garcelle showed up. So the ladies are coming in. Y'all know what they're doing. They're talking. They're reminiscing. Blah, 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 blah. So now it's time to get ready to sit down. Now, before they get ready to sit down, okay, let me rewind. So Denise shows up. Denise is still in a lot of pain from her hernia. She says she has a high threshold for pain. Her mother basically didn't let her be a wimp. And so that's why she just, can push through, whatever. I'm going to get back to Denise being in so much pain from this hernia in a minute. We're going to get back. Put a pin in that one. Then while the ladies are having pre-dinner conversations, Sutton is talking to Dorit, I believe, and Kyle is talking to Teddy, and both of them are saying about the other one that they don't think that the other one likes them. Teddy feels as though Dorit Sutton sort of came at her at the lunch the day before, and it made her feel some kind of way. Now, this is what I'm going to say about that. The way that lunch scene was edited, I don't feel like Sutton came at you crazy. But we know that editing, maybe that conversation went on for a lot longer than we were led to believe. And so maybe Teddy did feel attacked. Teddy is also very hormonal and she's pregnant. And we already know that Teddy is a softie anyway. I did like that purse that Sutton was carrying. That purse was very cute. Her dress was cute. I just didn't feel like she needed to tell us what it was. Anyway, because y'all know Erica Jane gonna be giving her the side eye every time she does it. So, anyway, so they get ready to sit down, and Sutton is immediately looking for name cards again. And she says she's feeling very anxious about the name cards because she feels like she's new to the group and she doesn't want to feel like odd man out, like nobody wants to sit next to her. I 120% get it. Once again, new to the group, you don't want to feel left out. They need to just go on and give Faye a diamond. I swear if I got to keep seeing Faye Resnick underneath in the caption that say Kyle's friend one more time, we know who the fuck she is and we know whose friend she is. And either y'all gonna bring her on the show or y'all not. I'm tired of seeing her. Anyway. Why is it not pausing? Child, my bad. Had a little technical difficulty. So again, like I said, I understood where Sutton was coming from, and she was saying that she was feeling a little, anxious with the whole not knowing where you were going to sit and that kind of thing. And, Kyle, y'all know Kyle is laid back. Kyle is like, child, sit wherever y'all want to sit. Now, we'll say this, Kyle, at a formal dinner party, you should have place cards. I'm just saying. But it wasn't that serious either. Like Kyle, you didn't offend the queen. Like, it's not that serious. So they went to go sit down, and of course Sutton said, see, what I thought was going to happen is exactly what happened. And so of course they had to switch seats around to make Sutton feel comfortable, child. So they're having pre dinner conversation. They get ready to start serving the dinners and stuff like that. And Garcelle, I like you, but why you always gotta ask people about sex? So Kyle said something about being home and how long it's been since he's been home. And so Garcelle's going to say to her, oh, so does that mean he's going to get some tonight? And of course, the whole table was like, whoa, what? And of course, Kyle was like, oh, well, I mean, that's the every night situation. Like, that's never a problem, And Sutton was like, well, that's not dinner conversation. Again, Sutton, I'm with you. Like, once again, I'm in a group. I'm at a dinner. I just don't think that's... Now, if y'all had a happy hour, y'all was sitting around having a few cocktails, and it was just 4 or 5 of y'all, and you like, girl, so you back home. I know you going to get... But I'm with Sutton, y'all. Call me approved, whatever. I was understood where Sutton was coming from. Now, they start playing this game. What was your first impression? And what do you think now? And so, of course, everybody's being nice. Why is everybody being nice? Because that is what we do at the first event of the season. By 3-4 weeks from now, they're going to be cussing each other out. And even Mauricio said, he was like, I don't know these women. We're the group of women I'm used to. Like, y'all being real nice to each other right now. He was like, I'm not used to y'all being so nice. And so it gets around to Sutton. And Sutton said, well, you know, I didn't think I was going to like Teddy. I thought you were boring and a little uptight. But, you know, but she did say, but I think differently now, baby. Teddy got to cry. Now, Teddy said what bothered her was the comment she made about her being pregnant. And that sort of set her off. Not so much the boring comment. Teddy, it was the boring comment. Why? Because you were sensitive. It's the same thing that got you upset when they were in France last year. Again, the whole thing came up about coming to the event, and Sutton stood in her shit and was like, at the end of the day, she stood in her shit, and she was like, but if you don't want to come, don't come. And Sutton was like, but I wanted to come, but you're not making me want to come. And then Teddy finally said, well, you know what? Don't come. So at one point, Teddy got up crying. She was upset. Her husband went after her. Kyle went after her, and they talked her into coming back. And then she was getting ready to start crying again because they brought it up again. And listen, I'm not going to dwell on this whole email, text message situation. I done said what I said. I agree with Sutton. And the rest of the ladies feel the same way. They just know that, you know, Teddy's sensitive as fuck. And so, and Lisa was like, well, I did say I didn't want to come. And Garcelle was like, yeah, I said I didn't want to come either. Now, what Teddy explained to Kyle when she had left the room, when she got upset, was this is a work event for her. And she doesn't have time to, A, coddle the ladies, and B, she don't have time for bad behavior, because this is an event. People are paying a lot of money to be there. She's inviting them as a courtesy, but if they don't know how to act and they're not going to respect the situation, don't come. That is what you should have said. And that should not have been a text message. You could have said that to the ladies when y'all were in New York, and you could have explained it that way to say, hey, listen, I'm inviting you guys because I really want you guys to understand what it is that I do. But this is not a social event for me. I'm not going to have time to really walk y'all through it and hold y'all hands. And please, please, please understand that this is a professional event. I need y'all to be professional. That's what you... But all of that, well, I don't care if you come. Don't come if you don't want to come. Well, you don't have to come. I really don't care if you come. Whatever. I would have felt the same way Sutton felt. And guess what? I wouldn't have fucking came. I'd have been like, oh, really? That's how you feel? Oh, word? Now, the next thing that we came up with was we had this bizarre conversation by Denise Edwards. I keep wanting to say Denise Edwards. Denise Richards' husband. I remember him being this weird last season. First of all, he seemed like he was high. He couldn't articulate. He was talking real soft and real. So, I grew up by a nuclear plant, right? And he starts, basically what he's saying is he knows how to cure people. Cancer's not a bad thing. And that there are people that follow him because the information that he's sharing will cost the big pharma a lot of money, and so they don't want him to be able to share it. And that he's been able to cure a lot of people, and that is why, and that they even have people following them. Now listen, everybody at the table, I was waiting for them to cue the Outer Limits music, you know, the music they used to play like at the beginning of the Twilight Zone or the Outer Limits or something like that. Let me say this. All I'm going to say about that thing is this. Because I know holistic healing can work. But this all I'm going to say. If you have all the answers and your cures work so well to the point where people are following you because Big Pharma would not be happy, why the fuck Denise still in pain from her hernia surgery? Okay. Riddle me that, Batman. So, listen, this is running long, so let me hurry up and finish what I'm saying. So, they get drunk. Everybody goes home, because y'all know Kyle and Dorit gonna get drunk, honey. Especially now Dorit is around the corner, and all they gotta do is call her a good little lift to take her around the corner, child. They was taking shots of Fireball, honey. And Dorit, they got drunk as hell. Now, the next day or a couple of days later, they do that split screen shit. We see Teddy having a conversation with Erica Jane, and we see Sutton having a conversation with Kyle. And here you go, Kyle. This is the same shit you've been accused of doing. You trying to play matchmaker or peacemaker or whatever, and you talking to Sutton, and you done talk Sutton into coming to this event after Teddy point blank told Sutton not to come. And then you got Erica and Sutton talking, and Erica in a nice way was telling, Erica and Teddy talking, and Erica in a nice way was telling Teddy, listen, your invitation was some bullshit, and you did make people feel some kind of way about it. The other thing we found out is that Teddy's having a little girl. So she had her baby reveal, her gender reveal, and she's having a little girl. That's pretty much it, y'all. We're going to pick up more on this next week. But yeah, that's pretty much how that ended. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments.